Well, hello everybody. Welcome to week 3 here in Community Resources and Corrections. Um, this is the halfway point week, so you're well, kind of like at the 8-week point for the full week of the full summer, full fall or spring semester. We're rocking and rolling. So this week we're going to be looking at chapter 6, 7, and 8. Chapter 6 is going to be on supervision and treatment of offenders with special needs. Chapter 7 on community supervision modifications and revocations. That's kind of the one area of corrections that I was involved in somewhat in revocation of probation, and that was usually because of filing new charges on someone who was already on either parole or probation. And then finally, chapter 8 is residential community supervision, and these are kind of the halfway between being in jail and not. You've got some freedom, but not complete freedom. As you're watching the videos, as you're reading the chapters in the books, please print out or your discussion 2 so you can be completing it. You should have already done that for chapter 5, which was due last week. So continue to work on that. Be sure that if you didn't do your follow-up discussions for discussion number 1, that you do them. There are 3 posts that are required. You can do separate posts on the same person's original post if you want, but put them as separate posts where you'll do your answer, their answer, and which answer is correct. So just kind of keep that in mind. Those are all very important parts of the follow-up post. If you want to get 100%, you have to have at least 3 of them. And then finally, you'll take the third exam. The second exam. Let's just kind of briefly talk about the first exam. I'm for the most part happy with the results. Everybody in the class took it. That's great. A couple of people didn't take quiz 5, so they got marked as late. Remember, 2 lates is if you have 3 lates during the semester, you lose a letter grade. So don't do it. Get all the work done in time. As far as the grade spread, we had grades. A couple A's, a couple B's, with one real high B, which was that close to being an A. And then we had one person that had some problems with the chapter. One thing I noticed: the lowest 2 scores for the exam did not get the bonus question. The highest 3 scores, the ones that were almost an A and the 2 A's, got the bonus question, which means the people that watched the entire videos did really well on the test. So that should be a hint. Watch the videos. The information's there. If you watch it, you're going to do a whole lot better on the exam. Well, the other thing else I wanted to mention before we move on is that your research papers due next week, and then you'll have to do in the final week, you'll have to post your video of yourself presenting it in your PowerPoint presentation. You should have written your paper by now and have someone to look at it and kind of critique it for you. Have them look at it, look for spelling errors. What we tend to do when we write something, if we do our own editing of it, we read what we thought we were going to write. I mean, we know what we meant, and we read that. So you don't necessarily read those sentences that don't make sense to somebody else, because you know what they were. That's why with criminal reports, particularly if it was a murder or if it was a search warrant that I was working on, I always had somebody else read it before I submitted it. I wanted somebody else to find those things. And what you want to do, you don't want to say, hey, look at this over, see if it's okay. You want to say, hey, can you find some errors in here? Let me know that if you can understand everything. Hey, check my spelling, make sure I use the right word, and things of that nature. And if you challenge them to do that, they don't feel like they have to give you the rubber stamp and say, hey, you did a great job. No, you're telling them, find some mistakes. I know they're there. Find them for me. Help me with this paper. So if you get them to do that, of course, you have to do your paper in enough time to have someone look at it so you can correct it before you submit it. But please do that. You've got another week to complete that. Well, that's all I've got for you, and I see the cat is out in the window ready to come in. I'll move the camera up, and I better let her in. So I'll talk to y'all again next week.